Hey everybody, welcome back to Trekyards. I'm Captain Foley.
I'm Connor Guns. Stuart, what's wrong?
Oh, I just got so much to do. I got a lot of reports to file and uh, just lots of logs to make. You know the routine. There's lots to do. So
Oh, I do. When I took Commander, my life changed and it became one long day. I've been on stim packs for the last 3.5 years just because there's no sleep.
yeah, well, I'm glad I have you in the position I have you in because you're very good at it. So but I don't know if you should accept that promotion to captain that they're probably going to offer you in the next little while. Because I'm telling you, having all those hard decisions fall on your shoulder, having the whole crew, relying on you, and you got to keep them safe, and it's a lot. It's a lot. I don't know if you can take it.
But also, you don't have to deal with the crew as much because you're up there giving the orders and not having to do any of the orders yourself. You just say and they do. You don't have to repair anything or you just decide things and then sit. Maybe stand, maybe lean, but
That's not true at all. Don't believe what they tell you. I interact with the crew all the time, and I wouldn't want to get a. That's not why I accepted captain, to get away from the people that are under me. Not at all. No, no, it's a lie. Anyway,
it's a
guys.
long bit. Cool, okay.
Well, this could have gone on for a whole 20 minutes. This bit we could have done this. Anyway, yeah, we're talking about promotion in Starfleet, or just any institution really, and what that entails. A lot of people strive for the promotion. Other people are happy where they are, and sometimes it's a lot more work to accept that next step up.
I mean, obviously, the reason we talk about this is because in Lower Decks episode 4, and again, spoilers, Mariner is forcefully promoted, not just one rank, but 2 ranks into lieutenant from ensign, and the A plot basically is her hating the extra work to the point that she then forces herself to get, she disobeys and gets a demotion back to an ensign so she doesn't have to do the work. And in Star Trek, we see most of the ranks, but through the lens of the top guys and the lower guys just following the orders. But in this episode, we get a very, personal view of what that means, obviously with a negative context, but we see a window, just like last week with buffer time. We've never seen that fully explored. And so I wanted to bring up, is promotion sometimes a bad thing? Because the extra work for no discernible gain, and doubling on that, the common joke of Kirk, let's not say regretted, but he gave advice to Picard, don't leave the captain's chair. So that promotion to admiral, was it a bad thing? Possibly. Who could be argued. And so is promotion sometimes a bad thing? And do some people just not want to be promoted, do not need to be promoted? Let's discuss why even be promoted. They can't be, if there's 50,000 cadets, there can't be 50,000 captains. Anyway. So what do you think about this whole thing?
Well, it's funny because when you're an ensign, you got all the crap work, as we find out. You get all the stuff that nobody else wants to do or can do on the ship. And then as you move up, I think lieutenant, probably lieutenant, junior grade, and lieutenant are probably the good ranks to be at, because you're not getting all the crap work the ensigns are, but you don't have the responsibility of lieutenant commanders and up. Because I think once you get lieutenant commander, then you start getting in charge of small teams.
I was about to say that,
teams,
yeah.
security teams, research teams, whatever. You get like 4 or 5 people under you that you need to manage. Then you move up to commander, and it gets even more exhaustive that way. And we all know the first officer on a ship does the most amount of work, because he ends up talking to all the department heads, which usually are commanders. So they're in charge of a specific department, or at least a shift.
As in Riker talking to no,
Geordi.
Yes, to Geordi. No, Geordi was lieutenant commander, at least at the start for a while.
Yeah, but he was also in charge of engineering, so he was the head honcho.
Yeah. So I guess you mean commanders in either commander, lieutenant, or lieutenant commander? Because like Data was lieutenant commander as well. I'm sure he was a division head in some way as well. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, so as you go up, you get people underneath you, but you also have that next step, and then there's more people underneath you, and then eventually you become a captain, and the responsibility of the whole ship, the entire crew, is on your shoulders. And then once you get older, you get that admiral promotion,
So
which
you can sit
gets
down
you
more and not leave the office.
Get you out of the field. You know, you're old, you're grumpy, which means you're going to be evil because all admirals are evil. And, you know, you're behind the desk, you push the pencils, you tell the captains what to do. But still, you got the meetings, you got to report to the Federation Council, you'll have to report to the Federation President. So there's always somebody that you're reporting to regardless. Anyway, yes, lots of different work with each different promotion, and that's why I said probably lieutenant, junior grade, or lieutenant's a great place to be, because you're not doing the crap work, but you're not doing the, you know, really important people's lives are at risk work, you know.
And also, I asked this in another video, what is the percentage of people in each structure? Because we also know there are non-commissioned officers on each ship, which just do the extra grunt work, which is odd then, because the ensigns seem to do the grunt work that the non-commissioned would do as well.
The ensigns do the grunt work for Starfleet, taking care of the ship, maintaining the ship. The non-commissioned officers usually have specialties like science. They're there for research. They're there for whatever. So they don't necessarily have to do all the grunt work. Again, it's the Starfleet that's taking care of a Starfleet ship.
And non-commissioned is there for... They can be swapped out a lot more. Those are the ones that transfer and do... Okay.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Yes.
So yeah, the ensign's therefore the... Well, Chief Petty Officer is the lowest rank with just a single black, and then ensign, and then half and half. But then you got to... You know, there's obviously only one captain. If the commander is second in command, how many commanders can you have? Because obviously the second in command is a commander plus... But how many commanders can you have? Because that means, could a commander out order Commander Riker? Well, you wouldn't be able to have that.
Well, that's interesting because, yeah, Data was the third in command of the Enterprise at Lieutenant Commander.
Yes.
And then it became Worf on some occasions because Data was suspected of being dead or whatever. Anyway, so... If there are other commanders on the ship, but they're not in the senior staff, they're not in the command structure, in an emergency situation, can they outrank the now lieutenant commander that's in charge of the Enterprise? Because they're a commander? That's a good question. I don't know how that works structure-wise.
Well, we know that...
You wouldn't have just one commander on the ship, because later we see, like, Beverly's a commander, you know.
But she may not have been at the start, though. But also, yeah, she would make sense to be a commander because that's, you know.
Look at the Enterprise at one point. They have like 4 captains. They got Kirk, Spock, Captain Scotty of engineering. Like, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, not necessarily ship captains. You still got the rank of captain, but in your department or whatever. So that's something you don't hear a lot about. But not everybody wants the ship, you know.
Ensign Kim, those on the bridge, and has a, you know, bridge officer seniority, not necessarily over other people, but if he makes a decision on the bridge, you know, that decision is probably going to follow through, even if a commander is sat there because he's right at the station doing it, you know, as in potentially if he, you know, he's there because he knows better in those sciencey ways, obviously given an order to do it, but he also is there to be the expert in that field. But yeah, Lieutenant Commander Worf, Data, for LaForge, I mean, there may only be then 2, 3 commanders. I think we've kind of, you know, and if that rank becomes so specialist, then Lieutenant Commander becomes the division head rank, and that's lowered the bar, and you're not going to have a ton, depends on obviously the ship. Enterprise D, I'm sure, has more, and Lieutenant might be the first rank that's a meaty rank of, hey, you're one step away from, you know, this is you're going to spend 15 years Lieutenant, because this is where you go from being a pride officer to a team leader. And then team leader, you go into either command, you know, that sort of higher up. Because you can be a commander like Cisco and commander station. You know, you are commanding. You can be, you know, you can be a commander of a mission. Boom, you got seniority. So I think lieutenant and lieutenant commander is where you spend the majority of your career if you're a good officer. And so that's what the question I asked in the episode of Lower Decks, that when she went from ensign to lieutenant, she suddenly obviously got a lot more workload. But also she was expected to go to all these functions that you would think if there were that many lieutenants and lieutenant commanders and commanders, I know it's animated, but they put a lot of effort in. You'd get more than just the bridge crew in it, because you don't want 35 ensigns at a mandatory meeting every week, you know, or 40 or 50, whatever. But it's a smaller ship. There's only 6 lieutenants, 5 lieutenant commanders, 1 commander, 1 captain. That's a good small rank, small set of people, and that's why then, boom, she's given so much to do because there's only so few lieutenants. What do you think?
I like the idea that You spend the majority of your service life in that kind of lieutenant position. Um, that being said, though, I mean, we see that Riker was commander for a long time. And it's funny because Ensign Kim is a great call out because even though he's an ensign, he's still bridge crew, which means he sits in on all the briefings. He's always there for the important decisions and give his input, even though he's just an ensign. I think it depends a lot where you're assigned as well. And again, I was never in the military. I don't know about the military structure. A lot of our viewers are, so I'd appreciate the comments down below as to how the structure and ranking system works as far as that goes. So
Yeah, but
if you could,
we have seen every episode of Star Trek, so we can talk about that.
yes, yes.
And in fact, I did a little memory alpha search, and this is pretty interesting. So I a little bit, I'm sure, well, a little bit hard to find, but this thing's been around for a while. So the commanders on the Enterprise D, right? You ready? Shelby, but we know the reason for that. That was not the same. That was a specialist. Crusher, Riker, Deanna Troi, and the other ones are interesting. One, Jerry Goldsmith,
Yeah.
Brandon Braga, Alexander Courage, and Gabriel Beaumont. Now, 3 of them are reference jokes, and one was on a screen. And this is what Memory Alpha says, all on Enterprise D. So you only have the bridge officer people and Easter egg references. Now, that you would assume, this is quite a long list, that, yeah, commanders might be pretty damn specialist.
I think, too, in that case, let's say, so yeah, there's 4 commanders besides Riker on the Enterprise, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, how many departments are there? There's engineering, sciences, research division, maybe.
Yeah, that'd be hard to quantify because they might subdivide. I wouldn't want to guess.
But it makes sense that there'd be a commander as a head for each department who reports to Commander Riker, and then manages his own department under that banner because he doesn't necessarily want the command or the bridge type duties. So I would totally buy that as like the senior department heads.
But then you get Geordi, who whose department head. Oh, then Riker.
He's chief engineer, which is a little bit of a difference. But then he's in charge of all of engineering.
But then would Riker be the division head of Geordi? I know it's slightly different, but I always just give him a commander rank. If you're saying everyone needs to be a division head.
I'm just speculating.
See, now I've gone to
there might be.
Well, I've now gone to Lieutenant Commander rank, and there's already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 16 Lieutenant Commanders. And that's anyone, including references. You've got Data, LaForge, Worf, Brad Yuckerman, Steve Tucker, Deanna Troi, obviously she swapped, Ron Surma, Leland T. Lynch, Sarah McDougall, Wendy Nuss, Dan Curry, Argyle, engineer, Brandon Braga again, I guess he promoted, well done him. Renee, so all these are references. But yeah, it seems like those are pretty rare as well. So it may literally be that seniority comes Lieutenant Commander.
Well, not that they're rare; they get transferred as well. As you move up through the ranks, you get offered a promotion on a different ship, or you get promotion to a station or a research, something. So it's not that there's less of them, but I mean, and they get filtered out too. Like some of them stay where they want to stay at whatever rank. Other ones take on specialist assignments. Other ones get killed on away missions. Other ones get, so that step up. Yeah, there are fewer captains and fewer admirals than ensigns, but at the same time, on the ship makes sense because you get transferred off. Yeah, you get a promotion to the next level up, but it's on this ship in the middle.
And if you
nowhere.
go one step further, that if there's only so few commanders and lieutenant commanders, those ranks are filled. So whereas on the Essex, the lieutenant commander is leaving to be a commander, and so now on the Enterprise is offered a lieutenant commander role on this ship, and they swap because that lieutenant commander where there's few of got upgraded, and therefore that becomes open. That's why lieutenants spend a lot of the time as lieutenant, because only so few rank upgrades. But obviously more ships have been built all the time, so that splits out that as well. Because you don't go from ensign to lieutenant. You go from ensign to captain. We know that happens in J.J. Abrams. So that rank shift can happen all the time. But as they're building more ships, obviously, if you commission a new ship, I mean, the pool of people there isn't just lieutenants waiting, you know. So, and this is, we never talked about this ever, have we? This really interesting how it works. But yeah, they probably say, okay, these pool of people, and these people are on less assignment. We really think this lieutenant's ready for promotion. Bring them over from this ship, and you start to create this new team with upgraded rank people. Like Riker, you know, he was never a captain, so he's being brought over from the Enterprise. Now he's a captain. Well, he has to pick a team or be given a team. And I'm sure, you know, if Riker ever did swap, he might say, can I please have Worf, etc., etc., because he picks, he sees lieutenant commanders that he likes in his crew, says, I want to give him a chance, would you like to go with me over to my ship and you get commander, whatever, because you've worked with them for so many years. I mean, you trust, you know, you'd want to trust your team. So it's mostly ensigns, quite a lot of lieutenants that do the less grunt, more thinking work, because they think the lieutenant commanders don't have to. Lieutenant commanders do division work and make the decisions, but also do the really their skills make sure they do the highest ranked jobs. And commander rules the roost, and captain gives the orders.
And takes all the heat from Starfleet and the admirals.
Yeah, very much so.
Shit rolls downhill, unfortunately. So.
So yeah, from ensign to lieutenant is that rank shift, where she is given a lot more stuff, and there's probably only going to be, maybe in 30 people on that smaller ship, probably maybe less than that, 20 people in the seniority chain. You've got 100 people on the crew, 200 people. I mean, it's going to be very small.
So yeah, I mean, moving up, there are a lot more responsibilities that come with that. You're managing more people underneath you. You have more duties as far as doling out promotions, discipline, assignments, whatever, right? So
it's more is expected of you from anybody can rewire plasma conduit to I need to do some clever thing.
And that's like some jobs too. Like yeah, you could get a promotion up to supervisor or something, but a lot of times it's very little increase in pay, but a ton more work. So a lot of people don't want to do that. They don't want the more responsibilities with nothing to show for it. So, you know.
Yeah, I mean, how many people in an average office doing, you know, computer work are just doing it to get the 9 to 5 leave, easy day, paycheck, who cares? How many of them actually want to run the company? Or, you know, I'm sure most don't. I mean, okay, if they'd offered it and they get the million paycheck, fine. But they wouldn't want to do the work. How many ensigns want to be captains? I'm sure there's a certain sense of ambition, but we've seen older officers, even lower decks, that are old, ostensibly old, and yet still lieutenant, when if they were really qualified, they should be captain by then, but they're not. Maybe they're happy where they are.
Not everybody has to take command training. As we found out, you can be in Starfleet. And if you have a specialty like science, but you want to be on the forefront of that, you join Starfleet.
You don't want to be a captain.
Yeah, you're out on the frontier. You're experiencing the new stuff, but you have no desire to ever be a captain of a ship. I mean, eventually you might get the rank of captain. Like if you're there long enough, like what was Scotty, captain of engineering, never wanted a starship.
I guess since that was because of the era as well. I doubt there's 7 captains working on a ship in TNG. I think that would be because there'd be 5 times as many ships. You know, I think that was more.
Yeah. Well, that's just with Starfleet in Starfleet battles we call that a legendary crew. Just a crew that's stuck together and they've all ranked up. So
yeah. And because he was, you know, flagship commander, two flagship engineers, and he did do teaching, I think, at one point as well. He did more in his career. He chose to go back on the Enterprise, and you know.
Yeah, and he was also third in command of the Enterprise throughout TOS, because it was Spock then him, as far as.
But yeah, you know, if you want to just do your job and not worry too much, you know, I mean, we've seen when you get captain, you can't do away missions. And Riker can, but not necessarily always should. That's a conceit of he's the, you know, you wouldn't necessarily think they'd always do, especially not average away missions. He's not doing most of them. So the further higher up the chain you get, the further away from the action you get. And if you want to be a scientist or explorer, I mean, as we've said, you know, to be on bridge and say go to warp and you just wait. Ironically, the captain's job is to wait. Whereas the lieutenant, his job is to keep working, do interesting things, and design things, and you know what I mean. So there is that fun ratio. Whereas, just like with being a chef, the higher up you get, the less days you work, because you're brought in as a specialist. You know, you actually work less the higher up you go in terms of raw hours because you've done the grunt work, because your expertise is so valued. You know, and you earn more for what you do. So yeah, basically Mariner being a lieutenant, she didn't want it. She doesn't want anything beyond. She wants to do her day job, hang out with her friends. Nothing else. And I think we both know meetings can be annoying, and having too many of them just sucks hours. There's only so many hours in every day.
A lot of times it's waiting for meetings, getting set up for meetings,
Yep.
pleasantries before you get down to the business. So it's a lot of wasted time to do that kind of stuff, unfortunately.
I've had days where the entire day was meetings. And it's like, what did I do? Well, I talked. Yep, that's all I did today.
But it pays off in the end, hopefully. So, anyway, guys, I think that's about it for our discussion on the ranking system and whether it's good to be promoted or not. Sometimes maybe not so much. Let us know down in the comments, though, if you have served in the military, if you know how the command structure works, if we got anything wrong, because I know it's different between the Army, the Air Force, and the Navy as far as ranks and stuff and what they do. So, and a lot of our viewers are in the military, so please put the comments down below. I'm really interested in hearing your thoughts on this whole thing, so please do that. And of course, hit like, hit the notification bell icon to all, and make sure you subscribe to the channel, and maybe join the channel. It's a great way to help us out. And that's a perfect jump off point for when you join the channel. You can immediately become a commander, a captain, or an admiral. You can select how much responsibility
So if you feel a bit more evil, a bit more vengeful, a bit more bad decision making, Admiralty is for you on Trekyards. Wow. And one-time donation at trekyards@hotmail.com. That's the PayPal, or just go on the website trekyards.com. Same thing, click the donate button, or super chat as the classic ways. Just join in, say hi, and the live's really fun. And the videos are good to watch. So, hey, all the many things, Stuart.
Absolutely. So, until next time, guys.
And we won't change in rank, because we're happy where we are.
That's right. I'll still be Captain Foley.
I'll still be Commander Collins.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.